couple of years ago, I wanted to play just some random game, so I threw in Battlefield 4. I jumped into a hardcore match on Hard Conquest. It's one of my favorite modes. And I joined a squad. One of the guys started to talk on his mic, and then I threw on my mic. We started to chat it up, and he was a friendly dude. So we started to play tactically, and we liked to do the recon style with snipers, or we were just playing aggressive, taking specific flags or high value flags. And we did pretty well for that match. I'm pretty sure we won it, but who knows? It was a fun time, and he invited me to join this Milsim that he found, and he thought I'd be a good fit for it because I like to play good at the game in this way with people. So that was really when I first started to find out that there were groups of people that did Milsims. Because before then, I had no idea what it was, but I was intrigued, so I said yes, and that's when I started to get into it. What I remember about the first day of training was there was a sense of that they all took it very seriously, and there was a bit of lightheartedness too to it. Because we're all there to have fun, first off, you know. But what they did is they lined us up in order, and they talked about the code of conduct, which was basically just like the rules of the community. You know, be respectful to everyone during Discord operations or PlayStation chats, and after the training is when they would set up our tag, where it would be the 5-mar tag, and it was fun because after that they went over the loadouts and they taught us the formations, true to the military tactics. So it was fun to use these things. I did a lot of paintball and airsoft gaming. I always like to do the recon. I bought my own ghillie suit, and I would always go around the edges of our map, and I would pick people off with a friend. And the best camouflage is just, you know, just to be still and to be slow, and people just don't notice you. They'll walk right by you, and you always get the upper hand. That's how it was for me. But after they went with the formations and the loadout and the code of conduct, they set us up on this beach, and it was like half urban, half beach kind of environment. So they would walk us down it, and they would have people firing at us from different directions. And they didn't go crazy on us. It was like beginner's mode. They just wanted to see if what they just been taught was retained. So if you were assigned to a certain position, looking at a certain, you know, angle on the clock, you have to cover that sector, whether it's the 6 o'clock, the 12 o'clock, or from left to right, depending on where you're at. People have a tendency to, everyone just looks at the fire of direction, and so then it leaves everything else exposed. So you had to kind of, you know, erase that habit and build new habits as a team, because you can be much stronger as a team. You can be more safe. It's kind of like a turtle shell of protection of eyes and weapons. So it's pretty cool in that sense. And after that, I think I did pretty good. And then they had us to go and put on our tags, the 5-mar tags. And then after that, I think we just waited, and they got us in the Discord, and they got us in the game chats, and they welcomed us and promoted us to the private section, and that was really it. Rising through the ranks can be done in different ways. For me, it was showing up on time, being part of the community, learning the different things that makes someone a good leader and a good sergeant in those moments where you're leading the team and you want to win the op, whichever team you're on. One of the things I do is be proactive about what's next for the community. I would be outspoken about these things, I would talk about the dynamics in the ops that we would do. I would talk about the different branches that people could be assigned to. Because we had the infantry, right? We weren't really developed on the armor, the air wing, or any recon or special elements. So I would push the ideas that we want to incorporate all the mechanics that we can in, you know, the Battlefield software that it has, because it does provide all these things. So I'm suggesting that we should have them. People want to be in the community, but they also prefer certain aspects of the game. Whether it is they like to be in armor, like tanks, or they like to hold a sniper in their hands. So we should have branches that they could be assigned to, provided that they are good at it and they can take orders well. So people that stepped up would take that place, and then they would always be the go-to people for those roles to be filled. And so that's how I would kind of take it, really. I would also talk about how we should push more marketing and advertising to the community, so that way we can have a good stream of members showing up every weekend, which the more people there are, the bigger the op is, the better experience, and the new ways that we can have more branches. Because if there's only just a squad per side, you can't really divide that into, having a tank, having helicopters or jets flying around. It's harder that way. So if it's just a squad per team, everyone's on the ground. And so that's one of the ways that I would go about it. And so just talking like that with the higher ups really put a spotlight on me, because I was proactive, suggestive, and I was in the moment during the ops. I wasn't trying to be anywhere else, and took it seriously, and they did appreciate that. My leadership journey really just started off with volunteering to be squad leader, because somebody couldn't show up as often, and so they would, need someone to fill the role. But also, new members would show up, and there'd be so many people that we'd need to divide them up so that it could be something that's, workable. So I took the opportunity to say, hey, I'll do it. And through the points I'd making before, it was they trusted me with it. They had a conversation with me about, the role I'd be filling and all that stuff, and I was totally about it. So they would build my squad by just giving me kind of a few new people, a couple of experienced people that have been in the community for a while, and so I would just start figuring out how am I gonna lead them. And so I took the role of understanding the leadership position from a military perspective, rather pretty serious. I was a serious student, and so I would ask questions about, Marine leadership, and they would send me some booklets I could read, and I would know by heart the formations. I would have it like in my mind on how to navigate and just give orders of things that I wouldn't do. If I wouldn't do it, I wouldn't ask them to do it. And so I was always concerned about making sure that they stay alive, and that there was camaraderie before and after during the ops, because that does help a lot. There's another book called The 5 Levels of Leadership, and that's something I reference to. So I would try to build personal relationships with everybody, and so that would help me to lead them better, because I know them better, and not everyone gets can be led the same way. But if you have a common mission and you share the vision, then people can stand behind that. And so I would take it upon myself to train them. And we would have our weekly trainings, and it would be on different topics and aspects of our ops, whether it's stealth, recon, or moving the squad with vehicles, because there is a way to do that that works really well. It'd be really cool to see that in a live pub scenario, but as you know, everyone just runs around crazy. But it works pretty well, and it keeps everybody alive and having a good time. The other thing I would do too is during that position, I had my word carried more weight, and so that's when I started taking it upon myself to create the channel that you're watching us on. And I chose to do this because I wanted to grow the community even more. I really liked what they were doing. I really liked the high comm guys. They definitely made a good environment for everybody to play, enjoy, and challenge us to do new fun stuff. So the guy who was supposed to be in charge of the media wasn't really putting much proactive effort into it. So I just decided to take it upon myself to do it. And so I just started filming our ops and editing them a little bit and just posting them. Or I would film the fun stuff. And I didn't know anything about digital marketing, but I just did it anyways. And it was fun for me, so it wasn't really a bother, really. But I just kind of balanced the two things pretty seamlessly. I just used the Share Factory thing that comes with the PS4, and I would just film a little bit here, and then I would either, I don't know, freaking read The Art of War, just kind of skim it before we do an op, and then I'll have like fresh tactics to try, see what works, see what doesn't work, and I would give feedback to my squad. I would say, hey, like, great job this past op. I really liked it when you did this, at this building when we were, breaching it. I also noticed that this was lacking and that something you should try working on for the next op. And I would do polls too. I would talk to my squad in our Discord, and I would ask them, what would you like to train on? And there's, do you want to just have a match in the pubs, or do you want to working with vehicles? Do you want to do recon stuff? Do you want to do a touch up on breaching? Things like that. And so I think that really helped out because I was getting them involved into it. So the more involved they were, the more they would show up. And that was one of the things that HighCom talked to me about, is they want people to be more involved and show up so that we can have more consistent ops for everybody. And so I think that really worked out, and something that you could do too. And if you are going to lead people, have them involved and know what they need to work on, but also always give live feedback because they always appreciate that. So for the closing thoughts of all this, some tips and takeaways to find milsims that you would like to be a part of, which they are still out there, even to this day, even for this game. I would just look for clan tags. They are mostly in hardcore matches, and always use your mic when you're in a squad in public matches. Use your mic, talk to them, and just chat. Once you're in, or even before you get in, just be consistently friendly. And if you're able to play in a tactical way, then that would, stand out. That will stand out. That will make them want to invite you because you take the game seriously. So just do that. Volunteer for responsibilities because those things do come up. And if you prepped for, taking responsibilities, whether it is you understand how to lead a squad or you understand how to be second in command of a squad, whatever it may be, the more you volunteer for anything that might happen, uh, then they'll definitely be watching you, and you'll get those opportunities for sure. Um, Once you're in the community, think about it. Create an account for the community and talk about how it's a good idea for them to make videos because people watch those things and they'll just want to join. You'll get a bigger community. uh, if they're unqualified to even stay in the community, you'll find out pretty quick whether it's they're just too young and they just can't take orders and you know go by the rules of the Milsim, or they just can't show up often enough. Therefore, they just can't be a part of it. If it's they have to be consistent, and so will you, really. So just expect that. Most Milsims, they'll have their matches during the weekend, probably a Saturday or Sunday. That's what we did, and that's how you'll find them, really. So this experience taught me that gaming communities can be much more than just a casual play. They can be a place to grow, leadership, and lasting friendships too on your, in your gaming life. So drop a comment if you've had similar experiences. If you're interested in finding a Muslim community, say it in the comment section, and somebody will probably see that and then reach out to you. So hit subscribe. I'm going to leave you with this quote from Marcus Aurelius. People who labor all their lives but have no greater purpose are wasting their time, even when they work hard. Have a good day, y'all.